I'm gonna get this out the way first and foremost. Um, does this green right here, y'all? And this has nothing to do with the video, but I just wanted to point it out. So I'm gonna get into the topic, but I want to ask y'all questions real quick. All right, put it in the comments. Does this green, is this the same green that Kendrick Lamar used in the Squabble Up video? Like, it looks like the same green. Again, it has nothing to do with it. Actually, it might have something to do with it, right? Because speaking of Squabble It Up, have you ever heard somebody, or have you ever used the term of being antisocial, right? And being antisocial, I feel like that's a very, very misused word, and I really want to clarify, what antisocial actually is, instead of us just saying like, oh, I'm antisocial because I'm shy, or I'm antisocial because I don't like people, or antisocial because I don't like big crowds. I'm antisocial. It's like, you're not antisocial. You're not antisocial. You may not like people. You may not like or favor big crowds, but you're not antisocial. And I'm going to explain in this video why you're not antisocial, because squabbling up is more so being antisocial. All right. So I appreciate y'all for tapping in, but we'll get right into it. So sometimes this term of being antisocial is misused. Again, being shy, being introverted, typically it's not, just not want to be around people. You like to be by yourself. Again, that's more introverted. Now, from a clinical standpoint, when we talk about being antisocial really means that you are really going against social norms. You don't abide by social norms. You may be more, and I'm talking social norms as far as like, what people do, what's status quo and things of that nature. It's more so going against the culture, going against like, more so like being deviant, right? So a lot of times being antisocial means like you're lying, you're more manipulative, you're more aggressive. It's more associated with criminal behavior, right? So that's why, squabbling up has more to do with being antisocial than just like, oh, I'm introverted, I don't want to be, I don't want to be here, and I'm feeling anxious around that. Now, sometimes folks get that mixed up with being antisocial with social anxiety. Social anxiety is more like, you don't like the big crowds, you don't like to be around people, but it's not being antisocial. Antisocial is literally you going against social norms in more deviant ways, not just, again, social norms is like, okay, what men do, what women do, and things of that nature. That's not being antisocial. It's more so being deviant, more criminal behavior, more aggressive behavior, more manipulating, more harmful behaviors. That's what antisocial is. So when somebody says, especially if you go to your therapist or you talk to somebody, you're like, hey, like, I'm antisocial. Your therapist, if they're a good therapist, will start to question like, hey, why do you feel like you're antisocial? Like, what is it that makes you antisocial? You may say like, oh, well, I just like to be by myself. And that's not being antisocial. That's literally you not just want to be around people. Now, trying to clear up this misconception can be challenging because it sounds like how it should be, right? Antisocial. You're against, being social, right? But in the term antisocial, it doesn't mean antisocial like I'm socializing. It's like anti like society more so. It's more so anti social norms. It's anti going against legal, or going against going against the law more so. So, more deviant behaviors go along with it. So it sounds as if it should be anti-social, where it's anti, okay, I don't like to socialize. It sounds like that, but that's not what it is. That's not what it is. And I know a lot of folks, even like there's branding around like anti-social. There's a clothing line that has branding around being anti-social, but that is a huge misconception, and that's typically, why a lot of people like to use it, because it sounds like how it's supposed to be. But if you guys know the English language, you guys know the English language is like the most difficult language to understand, because we have a lot of different sayings that mean different things that sound the same, but they have different meanings, like there, and there. Different meanings, different, different spelling and all that. But it's not the same, And again, going more into it is why it's being misused. It's carried on so much, and I feel as if we need to start addressing it a little bit more, especially when we talk about the developments in mental health, because antisocial is actually being antisocial personality disorder. It falls under a personality disorder, like just like narcissism falls under a behavior. And that's another term that we misuse a lot. It's like, you're a narcissist. Like, if you go clinically based on what a narcissist is, it's not somebody that just lies or somebody that just doesn't listen. There's a lot more that goes into it, right? So a lot of these mental health terms that we use, we're starting to misuse because it's part of our English language now. It's part of our, okay, you're a narcissist, or I'm antisocial. But those are all personality disorders. So we can't use these terms loosely like that, because what happens is, once we start, going away from the root of the actual essence of the word, and it becomes something different, then when we actually bring context to what a narcissist is or what antisocial is, we don't have an understanding of it, because we feel like it's all these other different things when it's not that. So it's important to remember, why, if you're saying you're antisocial, I would encourage you to challenge yourself to use a different language, such as like you're introvert, or, you just may not like big crowds, or, even if you're talking to your therapist and they clarify, okay, am I antisocial, or do I have social anxiety? Making sure you clarify that with your therapist. If you're talking to a therapist, or even if you're not in therapy, like, hey, I'm just antisocial. You don't want to give off the wrong impression to people, especially if you're talking to somebody who actually knows what antisocial is. Because if you're, say for example, you're on a date or something like that, and you're talking to somebody like, yeah, I'm kind of antisocial. You're really telling that person, like, I'm low key, like, I'm really defiant. I might rob you. I might manipulate you. I might do something to you, because I'm antisocial. When antisocial really means that you're really deviant. You go against the social norm. So if you're telling somebody that, even if somebody tells me that, I'm like, hey, is it, no, I'm antisocial. It's like, and I'm a therapist, so I'm privy to it. I challenge them and say, like, hey, like, are you antisocial, or you just don't like to be around people, or you don't like to talk, So be careful when you do use the word antisocial, because when somebody says I'm antisocial, it might mean that you're trying to squabble up with somebody. I might beat you up. I might do something to you. When in essence, that's not what it is. So in this too, we have to, after watching this video and you guys actually look into what antisocial is, you guys have the information about it. We always got to give folks some grace, right? Like, even when folks tell me, like, hey, I'm antisocial, I challenge. I don't say, like, you're not antisocial, you're no. Like, that's not how we should go about, it. Now that we know what antisocial really is, we need to give some grace. We need to pause and, educate folks on what it actually is. We do need to, try to break away from that label of being antisocial, right? But I hope this video clarified for you what antisocial is. I hope it was helpful, and just kind of developing, sparking that conversation, because I've just been hearing people say that a lot. I'm gonna do another video too on what narcissism is as well. So I'm gonna drop that soon. That's in the lineup as well too, because again, with these mental health terms, people, as much as mental health has been a great thing, and everybody's been talking about mental health, we're starting to like utilize these terms that we don't really know what they mean. So it's good to bring back the essence of what the meaning of the words are, so then when we do use them, we're not misusing them, right? So we want to be able to have conversations around mental health and not have these misconstrued languages, or using these terms loosely, right? We don't want to use these terms loosely because they do have deep and true meaning. Thank y'all for tapping in. Y'all take care of yourselves and take care of each other. Peace.